What methods do pro fantasy analysts use for rankings? Imagine trying to pick the best players for your fantasy football team without any clues. That's why professional analysts use a mix of solid data, smart models, and expert opinions to make their rankings. They start by collecting a lot of historical data on players. This includes how many fantasy points players scored in past seasons, how consistent they are, and any trends that show up over time. This gives them a good starting point to understand each player's past performance. Next, they use statistical models like regression analysis or machine learning techniques such as random forests and gradient boosting. These models take into account many factors like previous season stats, how often players are used, team offensive schemes, and injury history. The goal is to project how many fantasy points a player might score in the upcoming season. But raw numbers aren't enough. Analysts then adjust their rankings based on real-world factors. For example, if a team gets a new quarterback or coach, that can change how well a player might perform. They also look at the quality of the offensive line, the strength of the schedule, and whether a player is a starter or backup. These situational factors help make projections more accurate. Many analysts also gather opinions from multiple experts and combine them into what's called an expert consensus ranking. This averages out individual biases and creates a more balanced view. They also use advanced metrics like expected fantasy points, which estimate a player's opportunity and scoring potential, and newer stats like the player opportunity score, which shows how much a player stands out within their draft tier. These help identify undervalued players or potential breakout stars. Rankings are tailored by position because scoring patterns differ for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Analysts consider the scarcity of certain positions and scoring formats like points per reception or half point per reception to make better decisions. Finally, rankings are updated regularly. As news breaks about injuries, depth chart changes, or preseason performances, analysts tweak their rankings to keep them current. These methods help fantasy managers decide who to draft, spot sleepers, avoid busts, and adjust strategies as the season unfolds. Combining data, expert opinions, and real-world context makes these rankings as accurate and useful as possible.